So if you click on this video, this most likely means that you are interested in getting your online education business off the ground, but maybe in the past you've been feeling a bit overwhelmed about the whole process and what it takes to actually get inside of it and be successful with it, or maybe you don't simply have the time to put inside of it, or even you're not even sure that your skills and what you would have to offer to somebody would actually sell to some people. Well, if that's your case, watch until the end of this video and I'll show you exactly step by step on how you can actually do this and why all these things I just mentioned don't really matter, and you can actually get started step by step by a proven framework that I've used. So before you even get started on building your online education business or your platform or your offer, you really have to narrow down what is it that you actually want to teach, right? You have to find a skill and expertise or knowledge that you actually have, and there's a few ways you can actually go about finding what you're really good at. One of the ways I like to do is simply asking people who are around you, what do they think that you're best at? Most likely you'll kind of know the answer, but it's very good to just validate through your friends and family, what do they think that you're best at? And that in itself will give you a lot of information on what you should actually do, and then you can ask them questions directly about what if they were in a position to buy, what would they actually be asking you to learn from you, and then you can actually build your offer through that. Another way you can actually do this is essentially by browsing on the internet and seeing if your skills and your expertise and your knowledge is something that other people are wanting, right? Let's say you are something who's very skilled at painting. Then you can go online and kind of search painting and the whole area and what actually people are looking out for. There's another way you can actually do this, essentially going on Google Trends, which essentially is a platform that lets you see what people are searching, and then you can kind of go in your niche and narrow down the questions that people would be searching, and that's a great way to see if it's something that's very popular. Although it doesn't have to be super popular for you to actually go ahead, it's good to know what the marketing is needing right now. That way you can kind of craft an offer that resonates with the people. So once you kind of know what the market wants and you've kind of nailed down what exactly you want to offer, if you were to actually offer something, well, the second step is crafting your offer and actually seeing what's actually going to be included in something that you offer, right? Is it a coaching offer? Does it include videos? Does it include a group? What does it actually include? And it's super important to do so, because then you're selling, when you're going to be selling later on, it's super important to know exactly what's inside your group and how are you going to be able to sell it, right? If you offer something that's, let's say, higher ticket or lower ticket, the selling is going to be very different. So kind of exactly nailing down what you want to offer and how it looks like and it's packaged is super important to start, especially if you want to be selling it and doing well with it later on. And how you package it also very depends on how much time you have and what expertise you have, right? If you say you are the best at something very specific and you know that you're very much the best, well, most likely people are gonna be able to pay you a lot of money, but they're gonna want a lot more of your time, right? So you can kind of go with that route of doing a bit more of a mentorship. But let's say your skills are good, but they're not maybe at expert level, then you can kind of more do on the lower ticket side where you're helping a lot more people, but not necessarily one-to-one, because essentially one-to-one is more reserved for people who want to work directly with someone because they have a high skill and that it's in demand. And whether you want to do the way of doing a one-to-one thing, a mentorship thing, or maybe launching something that's a bit more lower ticket and everybody can kind of join in, it really depends on the amount of time that you have to put in. So let's say you do have a lot of time and you want to do one-to-one, that typically be the best way to go. But let's say you want to create something that generates revenue for you, but you don't necessarily have to be always in the business and helping people out. Well, you can kind of go more on the lower ticket range and helping more people. So again, it really depends on the time you have when you're getting into this. Another thing to note when crafting your offer and deciding what model you kind of want to go with, it's super important to see what other people are doing in your niche, especially if it's a specific niche. If it's a broader niche, then usually you'll see offers ranging from, let's say it's a fitness offer, you'll see offers ranging from a few or multiple thousands of dollars for a one-to-one program, and you'll see some some $10 to $15 coaching or workout program, right? So essentially it really depends on your niche, but kind of seeing what others are doing in your niche is super important. It's going to give you a really good idea of how you actually want to package your offer and be selling it to other people. So now that you've seen what your strength, your knowledge, your expertise is, you've analyzed that and you've chosen on what you want to do it, and you've also created an offer around it. So are you going to do a higher ticket thing, a lower ticket thing, and you've kind of crafted your offer. Congratulations, you've actually you've gone ahead and done most what people wouldn't. So after that, the next step would be to simply set goals. You want to set goals on what you're actually trying to achieve with this. Are you trying to achieve a full-time income with it? Are you trying to achieve some side income? Are you trying to impact people? Are you doing it because you genuinely like to help other people? You really want to set the goals, and then your work afterwards is going to be directly correlated to those goals. Let's say you want to really create a full-time living off it and stuff like that, then your work is going to be according adjustedly, so you're going to have to put in more hours and stuff like that. Whether if it's more of a just want to help a few people out, then you can definitely put less hours in. Maybe you have a full-time job, but you don't have that much time to put in. So really setting goals is going to make sure that you put in the right amount of work in to acquire that specific goal. So now that you actually set your goals on what you actually want to do with this, the next step would be how to get actually clients through the door. Now there's so many ways you can actually do this. I'll kind of explain the basics of it. Essentially, you can start by leveraging the most popular and the most popularized way of actually getting attention, which essentially is social media. Obviously everybody knows about it, but leveraging certain platforms, which I'll kind of go over which platforms are the best to do so. Leveraging platforms, you can leverage what you already have. So let's say you already have a following. The higher your following is, the more higher chance you have to get clients to the door. So leveraging that, leveraging actually starting to post on social media and be more active as well. But I'll make sure to actually go in a separate video more in depth on how you can actually use these free platforms that a lot of people are using to get clients to the door and keep those high profit margins, which essentially is what social media is all for, getting attention and going viral for essentially free compared to paid advertisements. Really that should be your number one focus when starting out one of these businesses. But my number one tip for actually marketing yourself effectively online would simply be to give out the most value you can possible. So kind of giving not every single secret that you know, but giving as much of your knowledge as possible, and people will recognize that and they'll follow you for that and they'll appreciate you for that, and then they'll most likely want to actually pay for your paid stuff because they're following your free stuff, and it's so there's so much value for them inside the actual free stuff. So doing that would be the best way to actually market yourself effectively. So the next step I would have to give you is that once you've actually thought about what you want to do, you've created your offer, and you actually started to market yourself effectively. Maybe you were actually already online and you're getting clients to the door. Maybe you're just starting out and you're just touching with a few people who are potentially interested. Something that's very, very important is that once you get those first members in, whether it's for whatever kind of offer you're actually offering, it's super important to actually get them amazing results possible, the best results possible. And there's a couple of ways, I'll tell you why in just in a second, but there's a couple of ways you can actually do this. The main one being super accountable for every member that's inside. So really holding their hand through the whole process and making sure they're doing things well in order for them to get the results. And when they do get the results, it'll give you an insane testimonial for you to actually use. And what that testimonial is actually going to do is actually sell the program for you, especially when people are coming onto your page, especially if you're doing the marketing and posting on socials. If they immediately see someone who's we're in the same position as they are currently, having their dream outcome, which essentially is your offer, they'll be much more willing to actually take you up on that offer and actually join your program. So having those first testimonials is super important. Essentially, it's going to sell the program for you without actually you having to push people down to actually get inside your program. So if you've implemented all the previous last steps that I actually talked to you about, so your offer, you're doing your marketing effectively, you're getting people inside your actual program, and you're delivering amazing results, therefore getting testimonials for them, the last step that I actually have to recommend for you is simply to give in more into the actual business. Putting more time and putting more hard work in essentially is what's going to make this actually very successful. And the main thing I would do for that is simply putting more time into what gets you client at the start. So usually that would be the marketing. So putting more time into posting content, changing up your content, seeing what works, seeing what goes viral and stuff like that. Putting more time into that will actually get you more clients and make it successful in the long run. So once you're putting more time into actually getting people through the door inside your program, you'll get a lot of feedback, and that feedback is super important to do more into distribution strategic work, essentially just tweaking your offer and seeing what people want, creating something that resonates a bit better with what people are searching on the internet. And essentially, once you putting more time into the content, you're constantly optimizing and tweaking your offer. That is essentially when you'll actually see those super successful months with your online education business. So to quickly finish off this video, if it's something of interest, you've looked over all the information and the step plan actually how to get started and get your online education business to those 5 figures per month, and you maybe want to try it on your own, but maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelming with the whole process and the whole systems that have to be put in place for you to actually do so, well, feel free to book a call with me, my team below. Essentially, it'll be the first link below. You can actually speak with one of my teams and actually maybe how we can assist you on implementing all those specific systems inside your online education business to get it to quickly as possible to 5 figures per month. So again, if it's any of interest, I'll be the first link down below. And for the rest of you, I'll talk to you soon.